My name is Jimmy Purdy, shop owner, master tech, transmission builder, and the host of the Gearbox Podcast. Here I talk with new and seasoned shop owners, as well as industry professionals about day-to-day operations within their own shops and all the failures and successes that come along the way. From what grinds your gears to having to shift gears in the automotive industry, this is the Gearbox Podcast.
I think you're going to have a good time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, I know you've listened before, but it's the Gearbox Podcast.
Okay.
So, and the one thing I always don't do right is my introductions. So we'll get like 15 minutes into this thing, and then like no one will know who the hell I'm talking to.
It could be Abe Lincoln for all you know.
Is that guy still around?
I don't know who this guy was talking to, but I could have sworn he was like the Hillside Strangler.
He might have been on the front side of a penny. I'm not really 100%
I don't know.
sure.
It was weird.
What the hell's going on here? So let's start off with introduction.
My name's Cody Wykoff, and I've pretty much known you since high school.
Yeah, been gone way back.
I've been a diesel mechanic for 13 years now, mostly working on farm equipment.
Okay.
I went to Wyotech, which a lot of people don't like admitting that because that school was just kind of like they had a lot of issues a couple years ago. Yeah. But I guess they've cleaned, from what I've heard, they've cleaned their act up now. But I was in there in the heyday of the shit show, so it was interesting. I actually went to Laramie, Wyoming, because I wanted to work on the big stuff like trucks and stuff like that, and the big toys. And so their diesel program, the Sacramento cabinets had that was for like pickups and stuff. And the only big equipment they had was in Laramie. So I went to Laramie, Wyoming for like 9 months. And it was cool. It was a experience. I mean, I think I got more of just as far as a growing experience as a person going to that, moving to a whole nother state for almost a year, as a, I think I was 24 when I went there. Like I was still like wet behind the ears, like cocky, thinking I knew everything, but I didn't. And I came back and I started working at Specialized Equipment, which is not here anymore, working on farm equipment. And then I went to work at Paso Robles Truck Center for like a year. And still, that job molded me in more ways than I like to admit. That from the experience I picked up working in like big semi truck shops it's a rough world. I mean, the people that work in that, everyone's a hard ass, right? And they will ride you and beat you. And you have to be like a mentally strong person for that. And, so I was there for a year and then I ended up leaving and, due to discrepancies with a boss I had. And so I left there and then I ended up working at Kubota at Sinan Tractors. And that's where I got a lot of experience. And I worked there for like 7 years. I was in a service truck working on equipment, fixing stuff in the field. And, anybody that can relate being in a field truck, you do a lot of self-taught learning. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you might not have the parts and you have to like make up your own fix for the time being until you can get the right stuff.
Field, right.
Yeah. Like I've had to do that a lot. Like make my own fuse or, you know what I mean? Like reroute it this way or, if I rewire it this way, it'll work for a little bit till I get the part here next week. And so I did that for 7 years working at Kubota and that was a school of hard knocks. And I actually owe a lot of the experience I have from that job working there. And then after Kubota, I went to John Deere for another 4 years as a setup tech, which was kind of a downgrade in a bit. Like I wasn't like going out in the field and like fixing stuff because I was a setup tech. So I was just like getting stuff new, ready that was sold and bought. So that was like, kind of like repetitive crap, which sucks. But the one thing I will say though, that shop, if you've ever been to it over at Calcoast, is one of the nicest shops you will ever step foot in, period. Like you could move an entire engine from one end of the shop to the other just on hoists. Like
set up.
Oh yeah. Like in the center of the shop, there's like a big, I don't even know what it is, like a 20-ton crane, but like every corner and every spot, there's giant electric hoists where you can pick up, half a tractor and just move it around the shop. So that's kind of nice. But, as you get into those bigger companies, I think it gets a little bit more political. And if anybody that's ever worked in a shop, you kind of understand what that is.
Like the dealership side of it too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're big time, but they got the money, man. And when you work for those big companies, they have the money to spend on the tools and getting you the right equipment. And working in a tractor shop, if you've never done it before, it's so different compared to a car shop.
I can only imagine, man.
You don't have car lifts to pick up stuff. You don't. You use forklifts, you use jacks, you use blocks of wood, and a lot of it's on the ground. That's probably why I got bad knees now. But
yeah, I can see that.
And I love working at Kubota compared to like John Deere. That shop was more of a mom and pop kind of shop. I mean, they're a big corporation, but it's not compared to Calcos. Calcos they just got millions of dollars in that company of John Deere. It's just John Deere's like the Cadillac of tractors. You're spending money on a name. So they have the money to spend on that kind of stuff. But I loved working at Kubota just because it was like, you felt like you were working with like family. Like, you know what I mean? Like you got, like if you were in a jam, you asked your coworker, he'd drop everything he was doing to come help you. Over there, the bigger corporation, if you need to help with something, you ask somebody, you felt like you were being judged.
It's all numbers.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
You're a number. You're just a guy picking up a paycheck, and that was kind of it. So, and then after John Deere, I ended up leaving to go work for On-Site Diesel, which was a good 4 months because I don't want to talk bad about a guy, but it was just not the fit for me.
Right.
Guy was very rough and very
I mean, it just really pivots the conversation into like shop culture.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't matter like whether it's an auto shop, tractor shop, like what it is, like it's really about the shop culture. And it doesn't matter how much you're getting paid. No. If you're not happy. No. It doesn't matter.
The key part for me working anywhere is if I don't like the people I work with, that's a huge deciding factor.
Right.
If I can't wake up every day and decide like these are the people I want to associate with,
right,
I don't need to be there. I'd rather just not get paid, and I'll figure something else out. I'd rather if I'd rather work at McDonald's flipping burgers if everybody there I loved and would take a bullet for it than go working at some place that's going to pay me thousands of dollars and I hate everyone there.
Yeah, I mean that's a great segue to bring up because that's exactly what's happening in this industry, and it's like everyone thinks. I don't know if everyone thinks, but it's like a huge culture right now. We were talking about when you came in, it was like these having shop owners that are raised in that crack a whip and everybody starts working hard.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's just not the 70s anymore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I it's funny. Like I hear, like I've had guys that just work like insane amount of hours. They're like, oh, I'll work 120 hours in 1 week and all that. Like I've worked those, I've had 116-hour paychecks in a week and stuff like that.
Right.
And as far as like, I don't mind working overtime. Like if I need the cash and we're in a jam at work, and this where it comes back to, do you like the people you work with?
Yeah. Are you willing to?
Am I willing to do that? Right. If it's someone I'm willing to do that for, absolutely. I will work till my fingers fall off.
Right.
But if it's a company I don't care for and I feel like they don't care for me, I don't care. You want me to work all the overtime in the world? I won't do it.
Right. Well, the compensation isn't enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, consider the fact it's not enough money to make up for the time you're going to miss with your kids and your family, and your wife and your family.
But I mean, I think like some of the drive is like, well, why doesn't he want to work overtime? I'm paying him for it. And it's like the thought of compensating your employee, you feel like that should be enough. And it's not.
No.
You know what I mean? Like you can't just say, "Oh, well, I'm paying you for it, so do your job." It's not. That's not what it is anymore.
No, it's not.
I don't know if it ever really was. And I mean, hats off to the guys that lived through the 70s in this field that like that like came in.
That was the heyday, man.
And just took the shit and drank the black burnt coffee at the bottom of the coffee pot.
Exactly.
And it was like
they set up a cot in the corner and they just lived there.
Like good for you, man. Like seriously, props to you. But honestly, like that's just not where we're at anymore. And I feel like a lot of the technicians that have become shop owners are kind of in that mentality because that's how they were raised, or they were in the shop that saw that, and that's the only training they have. That's the only knowledge they have on how to. They just don't know the difference, you know. And it's really difficult to even wrap your mind around a different way of doing anything unless you see it, you know, unless you like worked at different shops and saw. But if you found a shop you really like, you're not going to go open a shop. Like I'm getting paid well here. They treat me really good. Why am I leaving?
Yeah.
Like, why am I going to go do it on my own if these guys are treating me good? And those are the techs that should be shop owners, because they understand, wow, if you treat everyone fairly and right and respectfully and compensate them, everybody will show up the next day.
Oh yeah. Well, like when I left Kubota to go to Deere, it was a pay raise. But now like what I know now, I wish I would have never left. It was a mom and pop shop, and it was a pay, decrease,
right?
Like from when I was.
Well, you're chasing the money,
but I loved those guys. I still talk to my old boss there on the regular. He'll, he's a Raiders fan, and I was a Cowboys fan. He'll still send me stupid, like memes or whatever, like Cowboys like riding, the gay pride parade or something, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we're still good buddies. And if, honest to God, like I love where I work now, but like it's kind of like if I didn't have a job, if that guy called me and said like, hey, you need a job, I'd be there in a heartbeat, because I love him. He's a great guy. Yeah. And he treated me well, and I got nothing bad to speak about him.
Right.
But
you go chasing the money. That's what you do. I mean, that's just what it seems like the right thing is to do. And that translates right over to the other side. It was like, well, if you just pay everyone more, you can treat them however you want to treat them, or you can build this culture that you expect them to adhere to, and it's like that's not right. That's not what's going to work anymore. Whether it ever worked before, but
it's a whole nother beast now. You're not working on the same equipment that they were working on 30, 40 years ago.
Right.
It's all much more advanced now.
Yeah. I mean, you got tractors you deal with, right? And so I don't know. I mean, even for me to think about tractors, I don't realize how much, electronics are in them now. Like I see them now. I do the research. I've read up on them. Like, holy crap! Like, but of course, like that only makes sense. Like, of course they need to have GPS tracking and
there's some tractors that have like 30 something controllers or solenoids. Like, there's tractors now
beyond the actual
that's just like the tools on the cab. Right. Like, it's not even having to deal with the motor. Right. Like there's tractors now that if you program them with the GPS, you don't even need a guy in the cab. Like, did you know that they'll set it up?
Oh, I've seen
program it,
right.
And you whatever your field, it'll
just run circles.
GPS it with a satellite, and it'll plow, harvest, whatever the entire field without having anybody in the cab. Which I'm like, okay, that's cool. But then a part of me, like the guy that works, is like, man, now you're taking a job from some other guy.
That's true.
And that kind of sucks, but. And then the other part, the mechanic part of me is like, oh man, this sounds like more problem that I need to deal with, like more electrical issues. Like, oh great,
great electrical.
I got to figure out why this tractor is doing donuts and there's no one in it. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, figure out why. I mean, it goes right into ADAS, right? Like the automated driver assistance is like it's the same thing. People are going to come in like, my car's not parking itself anymore. Can you help me?
I think of my dad saying, like, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right.
It was great. Steering wheel worked fine, guys. I don't know why we can't still use it.
Why can't we drive the cars ourselves?
It's got pedals. If you're not going to have anybody in it, why bother putting a steering wheel and pedals in it?
Right.
Like,
but I think maybe the tractor industry or not tractor industry, but the heavy duty industry, like what you've been in, have maybe been ahead of the curve a little bit, as far as the implementation of the actual having those sensors and that technology. I feel like that's been around for a lot longer than a lot of us have kind of realized, and now it's like trickling down into, in quotes, light duty or the automotive world, as far as like having those sensors on these tractors, and like you said, program it to go, I want you to go do this 3 acre field, and it's automated. I mean, I feel like that's been around for a long time.
It's funny. I feel like I heard some of these, like with DEF. Like DEF fluid.
Right.
I feel like I heard like this stuff coming into tractors before I heard it come into like vehicles.
Right.
And when I heard about I'm like, why are we doing this? And next I hear like GMC's doing it. I'm like, wait, what? What's going on? Like,
yeah, well, everybody's doing it.
This you realize this is chemically made cow piss, right? We're putting this in what? Like,
it's good for the environment.
Well, California is a whole nother beast, and they're honest to God ruining like heavy equipment area, the automotive industry. Like diesel trucks aren't going as far as they used to because of all this DEF stuff they've added to it. They're not like back, like, so like you were saying, like back in the 60s, 70s, stuff like that. Diesel trucks, 1,000,000 miles. Yeah, absolutely.
No problem.
Do it. Not an issue. I actually read an article. I forget what, it was like a trucker magazine. And there was a guy, he had a 86, like Kenworth, but he had 3.75 million miles on this truck. And he's just like rebuilt it, added a sleeper, upgraded the sleeper. He just kept adding to it.
Right.
I promise you, 60 years from now, you're not going to see a 2022 semi doing that.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah. It's gone to a disposable world. Throw it away.
And buy a new one.
Hold the whole truck.
We don't need to rebuild it. Just throw it in, buy a new one. And some of those things I understand, like why you just throw it away and get a new one, like a chainsaw carburetor, it's $30.
Yeah.
Why rebuild it?
Right.
Just buy a new one. I get that. But a whole truck, stuff like that, it's like, why? Well, we used to use our hands. We used to fix things.
Yeah.
Why can't we still do that? Oh,
right.
Because it causes pollution. Oh, okay.
Well, they can't monitor exactly where everything's going.
Yes.
It's just the checks and balances. And and so, going back to like the DEF fluid, and I'm sure you deal with a lot, is like the regens.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So how many tractors you get coming in just for a freaking regen?
Oh, yeah.
We deal with it with just the medium duty, I guess you call them, trucks come in, and they just, I just keep going. I've rented tractors before, and then the little stupid light comes on, and you're like, bypass, and then before you know it, you're like, oh, what the hell? I got to sit here now?
So, what's funny is when I was working at Kubota and the whole DEF and regen started coming into their systems, it was funny. I made a point when they sent me to Kubota school. I made a point to the Kubota guys, and they all kind of looked at me. I was crazy. And then what it was is, so their systems, they have two different industries. They have the ag and the construction. Okay. And the construction industry, their system, the regen would just be, on all the time. And when it wanted to go into regen, it would just do it. Okay. Well, on the ag one, you had to push the button to like activate it.
Right.
Every time you start the tractor, like you have to turn it on. The construction, you just fire the tractor, it's already on.
I see.
So, and I told them, I said, that's going to be a problem. They're like, why? And I said, well, let's just say Farmer John, who's been driving his tractor for 40 years, decides to buy a new one, and you tell him he's got to push that button every time he starts the tractor. He ain't going to do that.
It's not going
to happen. It's not. If you tell him he's got to sit on the button on every time, no, he's going to fire it off, go take a piss on a tree, hop back on the tractor, fire it up, not hit that button and go. And then this DPF filter is just going to get compact.
Right.
I said, you need to make them all like the construction, so it's just on all the time. They're like, no. The exact next year, they all changed it to the construction one. Because these DPF filters, when they first came out, they were telling us there was like 5 levels of being plugged. Like first one's like, hey, it's kind of plugged. We need to do something about it. Hey, we have an issue. Hey, it's getting really serious, man. It's getting really plugged up. 4 is like, oh my gosh, buzzards and things going off. And the 5 was, there was nothing you could do.
Replace it.
You had to remove the whole thing, either replace it or go get it burned. But I think they said on level 5, you had to replace it. And those filters were $3,000 a pop.
Crazy.
So, and I was telling these guys, I'm like, dude, you can't, like, you got, if you're going to do it one way, you got to do it like with all of them. But just that one simple, stupid little thing, turning a button on.
Oh, yeah.
That causes so many issues. And then these guys aren't going to want to buy these tractors anymore because they have to deal with it. They're going to put the money into their 1970 whatever farm all in the backyard. They don't want to buy a new one.
Yeah, why would they?
Yeah.
Why would you buy something for an inconvenience?
Exactly.
You buy something for convenience.
Yeah, not to make it more of a pain in the ass for
right. It just like rolls right into like the new cars with having the subscription programs for heated seats and all that kind of stuff.
See,
right
now you're speaking Chinese. There's a subscription program.
Oh, yeah. So they got
really?
So it's the same thing where you buy this vehicle for the convenience factor, right? Uh-huh. And so say you have heated seats. BMW's done it for a while, but yeah, you get a subscription.
I got a whole nother issue with
BMW. So you get these heated seats, and now they want to take that away and make it so, because it can be activated wireless, through
so you have to pay a subscription if you want your heated seat.
Right. So they'll just turn it off, and then when you pay your subscription, then okay, your seats are back on, so you can use them now.
See, I think we're just getting lazy as a society. If you're cold, man, put on a sweatshirt. You know what I mean? I drove a truck all through high school that didn't have a heater. If you're cold, put more clothes on. Right. If you're hot, roll the window down and haul ass.
I think that's the biggest pull, too. I think that's the biggest thing I always say, too, is like, you buy something, you own it. Like, take care of it. And it's not disposable. And it goes right into, like, the tractors and stuff, too. Like, so if you buy something, you're buying it so you can fix it. Mm-hmm. So you can do these things to keep it maintained and keep it running. You talk about having to add DEF fluid or have a particulate filter, like no one knows what that is. And it's like, you can't fix it. Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's $3,000.
Yeah.
That's it. Mm-hmm. It takes 10 minutes to replace.
Well, it's funny. like you're saying, taking care of things. And like my number one like pitch I would always tell to customers when I was out in the field and they're like, "Wow, I just bought this tractor. I got issues with it." And the number one pitch I tell them, and it's a very simple thing. I tell them, I said, when you're done with whatever you're doing for the day, wash the tractor.
Yeah.
They're like, "Why? It's just a tractor." I'm like, "Well, you get a couple things from that. One, you wash it, it just looks clean. Okay. You don't look like just some gym, schmo just out there, beating up equipment. Wash your equipment. And secondly, the other reason for that is you can see when issues are going to happen before they happen.
Yeah,
if your tractor's all nice and clean, when you start driving it that day, dirt's going to start attaching to where it's leaking oil. And it's going to, oh, hey, that wasn't like that before. What's going on here? Well, you have a kingpin seal that's about to go out because it's starting to collect dirt and crap around it. It's like it's like yelling at you. You can see it. It's showing you that there's an issue.
Right.
But if it's dirty all the time, you don't know if that's from the engine, from the front axle, from the transmission. You don't know where that issue's coming from. But if you keep your stuff clean and organized, you don't have to be a mechanic. You'll know something's going on.
Yeah, something's different.
Exactly.
No, it's a good point. No, I mean, just
keep yourself clean.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that translates right over to the light industry, too. I mean, and I've said it before, it's like, take care of your stuff. Mm-hmm. No one's a better advocate for their own vehicle than they are. Mm-hmm. If you're driving your car and you feel, hear, see, smell something different, you don't need to be a mechanic because you're paying attention to your car. But this society now is moving into like this replacement thing where it's like, it's making a noise, I'm going to go buy a new car. Or it's like they just ignore it. They're like, I just need this thing to last another year, so I'm not worried about it. And they come in and we do inspections, and there's $3,000, $4,000 worth of maintenance that needs to be done. It's like, well, why is it so much? There's nothing wrong with it. It's like, not right now.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you need to do this stuff to avoid the big stuff, and you have so many different things that are starting to fail that this is maintenance, and it's just like you said with the tractors. Like if you wash it and you can keep up on it instead of taking it down to the dealership because finally a major seal fails, and they're like, oh, hey, by the way, you need another $5,000 worth of service work, and they're like, what are you talking about? I just came in for the one leak. It's like,
well, no, you don't go down here. I'm looking at it, and you got this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and this is wrong.
Right. And with equipment, I can only imagine how many people put that stuff on the back burner. Well, the amount of stuff you must see is like gotta be mind blowing.
You would be actually surprised. Equipment, like tractor owners, they're more acceptable to spend $5,000 in repairs than
yeah.
Like, because if you think about some of these tractors, and this is where like women are going to start hitting on farmers now, is some of these tractors cost way more than a damn BMW ever will.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You spend $30,000, $50,000 on a tractor. You kind of got a light one.
Yeah,
that's what I mean?
Yeah.
You spend six figures on a tractor. For sure,
yeah.
That's a big boy.
You better keep that thing up, huh?
Oh yeah. But then I think about like cars and how they build them now. Like the Ford Flex, for one instance. I've heard that. Have you ever done a water pump on one of those?
Yeah.
You have to remove the whole engine through the bottom of the car.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
And they had a big failure with them too.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't like something that was like, oh, it happens every. I mean, it was a big deal.
Oh,
and I
really?
think there was a lawsuit that went behind it.
It was like a lemon law.
I didn't go into a lemon law. There was definitely some stuff going on with that one for sure. That was like a big deal because it's a big job to deal with. And same with the Explorers. I mean, the water pumps on those fail a lot.
Oh, really? Oh,
the 3.5s. And it's the same thing. It's run off the timing chain, and you got to pull the time cover. You don't have to pull the engine out, but it's just the same thing. Like a critical component like that's buried so freaking deep, where you look like a Chevy truck, and it's 4 bolts. And
that's what I told my buddy. I said, you have to realize, because when I was telling him this, he's like, okay. I'm like, dude, you realize every equipment ever built, I don't care who made it, no one has had to pull an engine to do a water pump. Like you could just do it in there. So when I heard this, I'm like, I never want to own one ever. That sounds terrible. Like I want nothing to do with that. That sounds bad.
Well, it's a critical component too. Like a water pump, like it's never going to fail. Like it's going to fail.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
water and metal don't mix.
Yeah, and it's a part that needs to be addressed. You can't let it go. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a weird one. The Ford did, and I don't remember the specifics on what happened with that lawsuit.
I was just shocked. I was like, "What? Is this a joke? Is that a real thing?" Like, no, that's a real thing, man. I was like, "Wow."
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm glad I stuck with tractors.
Yeah.
But like I said, and that got me thinking about it too. Is they're not afraid to spend money on the tractors, but the other thing too that's for me is kind of nice is I'm kind of rough around the edges kind of guy. Like, like I'm not a painter, I'm a grease monkey. So they don't care so much as far as what they look like, as long as internally that thing is running like a champ.
As long as it's going to go make money.
As long as it's going to go make money, that's where they spend their money. And a lot of them, they don't care about a hood or a fender. Like, oh, I don't care. Is that not leaking anymore? Yeah, it's not leaking. All right, send it. You know what I mean?
Good to go.
So for me, that's kind of nice too. Is like, they don't care so much about the cosmetics of it, but as long as the lights are working and everything's running like a champ, they don't care.
I can see that.
As long as they can get, another harvest, 2 more harvests, 10 more harvests, But then like California has a program now where they're buying tractors back.
Interesting.
We just did this is kind of like stupid. I actually just did one at my work. We had this old, I don't even know what year it is, but it was an old Ford, and they were doing a tractor buyback program where they buy this tractor for him, and they gave him like the state of California give him like a check for like $75,000 to put towards another tractor. Now this tractor on its best day wouldn't even be worth $5,000.
Wow.
Yeah, but they wouldn't accept it because the tractor didn't work. His clutch was blown up. So I had to split this tractor to put a clutch in it for it to operate correct, just so that they would buy it to destroy it. So they'd give him a check for $70,000. I'm like, wait, what?
Whatever. I'm getting my paycheck, I guess.
Yeah. So I put a whole new clutch in there. Like, you know what I mean? But I didn't like go to like the extra mile to make it all nice and neat. Cause I'm like, I know this thing's going to go get shit canned, but it was just kind of like dumb. I'm like, what?
Doesn't make any sense. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. The politics of that kind of stuff is bizarre. Beyond any of us, I think, can ever comprehend when it comes to the consumer buyback program. Does the same thing with cars. If they don't pass smog, you can, $1,000, $1,500, whatever. But it's got to drive. It just can't pass smog, but it's still got to drive. It's like what?
That's why I don't. I have I usually have my A to B, which is my truck, which is something I'll probably have to smog for the rest of my life because it's a 2015.
Yeah.
But everything else I buy like 75 and down.
Right.
I don't want to smog it. I don't want to deal with it.
That, yeah.
If it's broke, okay, I can fix it, and I don't have to I don't have to, deal with the state and have them crawling up my ass for something I did.
Right. Deal with the smog program every 2 years. God. And now they're doing the state inspections too. It's just.
Well, that's why I wonder how Kyle's going to get that coupe of his all checked out.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
Register it in Montana is what you're going to do.
Well, he told me.
Thanks to everybody out in Montana, by the way.
Yeah, right. Well, it's funny. He took it. He said he took it down there to DMV, and they're like, "This is not the engine that was in it, like stock."
Right.
And he's like, "No." Just look at him like, "No, of course not." Well, this is the one you're going to run in it. Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Obviously, it's in it. Just kind of like.
That's about the point where we say no. This is just the one I mocked up.
Yeah, this is just mocked up. It's just for shits and giggles. This is going on my boat. Don't worry about it, guys.
This is just a blower motor I decided to throw in here for the day.
It's only 6.5 feet tall. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna go pick up my kids in this.
Oh, the thought process. I don't know. It makes it tough being in the automotive industry in California because of that stuff, but we figure it out, I guess.
Yeah. Eventually. Eventually.
So the pole with the heavy duty, that's something that you're obviously been doing. Mm-hmm. You like doing. Was that like a conscious decision, or is that something you fell into like out of school, or like what was the pull behind like instead of going to light service versus like the heavy duty? Yeah.
So when I went to diesel school, like at Wyotech, I was originally signed up to do diesel and automotive.
Okay.
And when I got there, I changed it to go all diesel. And the reason why is I thought there were so many things changing in the automotive industry, and then, electric cars and all this. And then what I thought is at the time, everything that you own has at some point, been brought to you by a diesel engine.
Yeah, that's fair.
Everything you own, from this desk, from that soda, from my glasses to your NOS tank sitting right here. Everything has been brought to you by a diesel engine, whether it was a boat, truck, so the way I thought of it was job security.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's Diesel's fair. Not going away at all. I don't see, there's nothing that they have come up with that is as efficient, that can do the job, that won't break down, that can outdo it as far as durability. There's nothing that we got going on that can beat it right now. Right. So I just thought of it as a job security doing it. And I'm a big guy. I can't, me crawling underneath cars a lot. I laugh because sometimes I don't fit. So and the tractor works great too because I can crawl underneath those real easy.
Right.
And that's kind of why I went that route. It's funny. I never was actually, I never worked on tractors before until I started working at Kubota. Like I worked on some semis, some pickup trucks, growing up. But like, and I actually, when I got hired there, I told him, I said, I've never touched a tractor a day in my life, but if you're willing to teach me, I'm willing to learn. So, and that's kind of always been my pitch at any job. If I don't know how to do it, if you're willing to teach me, I'm willing to learn it. You know what I mean? If you're willing to sit down with me and whether we want to call it hold my hand and walk me through it. If you're willing to do that, I can at least become a sponge and try to absorb it.
Yeah.
So, and then once I started doing that, I realized like tractors was kind of my thing because like I told you earlier, like my downfall is electronics, like wiring. Well, tractor's easy because you can see all the wiring.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not hidden. You know what I mean?
Fair, I guess,
they have like a fender here, hood, and that's it.
Yeah.
And anybody that doesn't know what a tractor or has never worked on one, the way I've always described it is picture an engine with a transmission, then bolt 2 axles to it. That's a tractor.
Yeah. Pretty much.
If you want to go do a clutch on a car, yeah, you know this. You can drop the drive shaft, pull the tranny out. There's the clutch. Tractor? No, you got to split that thing in half because it doesn't have a frame. You ever seen that? Splitting a tractor?
No, I've not. No.
So if you think about a car where the bell housing sits on the engine.
Okay.
Split the entire car in half and walk it away from one another.
Oh, I see.
That's how you do a clutch on a tractor. Because there's no frame. I can't drop the transmission because the transmission is the frame for the tractor.
It's all integral.
It's all bolted together. The minute you bolt the tractor together, like the engine will tilt because the front axle is just like a seesaw.
Interesting, yeah.
It's very different.
So you're pulling tracks off. You're pulling everything.
You split it all the way down to the dash,
tractor.
all the way down to the bell housing bolts, disconnecting all the hydraulic lines that go around the side of it, and then walking it away from one another. I have a couple pictures on my phone. I'll show you on some of the ones I've done it. You'll just go like, and it's funny because I talk to guys that are car guys, and they see that. They're like, what the hell? Are you serious? I'm like, yeah, man, it's nuts. But I see you guys with, coil packs and like all these wiring, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, we just kind of like trade stories.
What is this magic going on?
Oh my gosh, man. Like, you have what? What's a distributor? Like we don't have that. Like it's just kind of like
they don't have no spark plugs. What the hell's going?
Yeah, we don't have no spark plug. And
I can only imagine looking at a tractor. I probably looked at a few where I'm like, how the hell do you pull that out?
Oh yeah.
So that makes a lot more sense that you just disassemble it from the outside.
Yeah, from the outside in. You have to dig to where you're trying to get to.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Well, I mean, it's got to have some pretty good labor times on them then.
Oh yeah.
Now, is that something on the heavy duty stuff where on the tractors you get a book time? Obviously, there's got to be some sort of labor guide.
Yeah,
right?
Mostly, honestly, at dealerships they'll have that like flat rate. They're like, oh, okay, well, no, it's going to take you like 12 hours to do a clutch. Like actually, when I was at John Deere, when I was a setup, there was a tractor that had a input seal leaking on the transmission, and I've never split one. And they're like, oh, we'll send it over to the ag department. They'll split it. I'm like, I can do this. They're like, you can? I was like, well, I've never split a Deere, but like I've split Kubotas all day. I'd do it in my sleep. They're like, all right, well, if you want to give it a shot. And it was like a 12-hour flat rate. And when it was all said and done, I beat it by 2 hours. So I was proud of myself because I've never done one on a Deere and I beat, flat rate by 2 hours. I'm like, right. Sweet, man. I'm like making money. But, yeah, they have those in the shop I'm at. I work for, Central Coast Equipment, out there off Union Road for Cody.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And, had to get my little name drop in there. Great guy. If you've never met him.
I have not. No.
Cody is like, that guy's family, man. Like there's not a whole lot that guy couldn't ask me to do that I wouldn't just jump on and do it for him because I care about him a lot.
Yeah.
Back to liking who you work with or who you work for.
Right.
But he's pretty good at, he does all, I don't do a whole lot of quoting because he's the boss man. He does most of the quoting.
Right.
And he's kind of touched everything and knows, but there is flat rate books on doing certain things.
Yeah. A lot of it's got to be time and material though, I would imagine.
And then it also depends too, if it's a cab or not.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah. Cause I have one tractor I'm doing right now that, we had to pull the entire cab off of it. Because it has the input shaft going into the clutch broke, and it has a shaft over a shaft. So your normal input shaft going into the clutch had a secondary one that's for the PTO.
Oh.
Well, that one sheared off of it and it was stuck in the clutch.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Well, that shaft, the only way to get it out is having it come this way out through the transmission.
I see.
So we had to pull the cab off because we had to split the transmission in half to get that shaft out. And it was just a nightmare.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit like a nightmare. Yeah, that's got to... Yeah, the hours just start racking up and this is your bill,
yeah.
you know?
Well, and then everything on them is made of cast. You know, like the housings, the transmission housings is cast. And it sucks because a lot of times if something breaks on the transmission case, you're screwed because you can't weld cast. I mean, you could try.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you willing to put your name on it and send it out?
I've seen people try on that stuff like,
Brazing
you shouldn't have done that.
Nah, man, you should have got a new one. Just throw that away.
Throw it away. Yeah, I guess when you're that deep though, I mean, yeah, you don't really pull stuff out though. I guess I'm trying to wrap my mind around like even that repair process because for me, I need stuff like disassembled. I think a lot of techs are kind of like that too, where it's like it's so hard to like fix something like in the dash, you know, like if you need to do a blower, like you just want to pull that. I'll use that as an example, like the HVAC box, right? Like say a blend door breaks or something. Like it's so hard to like try to build that in the car, and you're just like, I just need to figure out how to get this out of the car and put it on the bench, and then I can fix it and then reinstall that box. And I feel like
half the battle is just getting to that point.
Yeah, but I feel like with tractors, you probably don't have a lot of that. Like you got to do a lot of stuff. Like, well, this is going to save me like 4 hours if I just like deal with it in this awkward position that it's at, right?
Yeah.
Does that sound about right, or is most of the time you can actually get those components out?
Most of the time you can get the components out because you're not fighting body panels and stuff buried.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing really hiding it.
It just
falls
the
only
out.
time that it's hidden if it's inside of it. Then you really got to start pulling stuff apart and dealing with it that way. And then the other hard thing too about it is that almost everything on a tractor weighs a ton. Because it's all made of cast iron, steel parts. Like, there's nothing light.
Rusty bolts everywhere.
Yes, you're breaking a lot of stuff. You're going to learn how to weld real quick. That's for sure. But everything's heavy, and it sucks. And it's hot, and it's covered in cow shit and moldy broccoli, which if you've ever worked on a tractor that came from a broccoli field, hats off to you, bud. It is the most disgusting thing. Oh my God, dude. It smells like the whole tractor's just been submerged in like a septic tank.
Crazy. I've had plenty of cars come in ranch trucks.
Oh, yeah.
And I just whine about the little bit of cow shit that's under the fenders.
Oh, man. I would give
tractor
you
just
nightmares.
Buried in this stuff.
I would give you nightmares. And it's funny because I've worked on so many vineyard tractors. Like, I don't like wine. I don't drink it. I hate grapes now. I hate wine now because I have like vineyard tractors come in with like moldy wine grapes on them.
Yeah,
it just stinks,
fermented.
Man. Oh my God! And then we come back to like wash your stuff, man. I know you guys have a pressure washer out there. Don't tell me you don't have
before you bring it in here.
Like, don't tell me you don't have a pressure washer. I know you guys have one.
Yeah,
come on, just hose it off. Anything. Take it in a bucket of water and splash it on there or something, man. Because I'm the guy that's gonna mess with it, and I got to deal with moldy food on it. It sucks.
All stuck deep in those. Those cars, yeah.
Or then you'll have rats and stuff. I used to keep a pellet gun.
I was just going to say, I wonder if the rodents got to be a bad one.
I used to keep a pellet gun behind the seat of my service truck because there was this one house I went to. It was actually in San Luis Obispo, kind of off of Bitterwater, like on the other end of Slow.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Okay, like up on those
south.
hills.
Yeah.
So there was a house up there. He had a nest of wood rats. I don't know if you ever heard of these things. I think it's wood rat. But they're like this big, like almost the size of a house cat. And this one was like inside behind the dash, just eating everything. And I would just take a pellet gun. I'd shoot him out. I'd take channel locks, grab him by the tail and pull him out and shoot him and like huck him. Like, cause it's gross.
Everywhere.
Oh my God. But they just chew up all the wiring. And then sometimes they get fried in there. Because they'll be right by the tank or the engine and they're just cooking. Because they want to stay all nice and toasty in the wintertime. And then Farmer John fires up the tractor and he just burns those guys.
Yeah.
Or birds crawling into the exhaust pipe.
Mm.
I had one, they went on a big 6150 deer, crawled in the exhaust stack, and I fired it up. And all of a sudden I see these feathers just shoots it out. I was like, what was that? And I realized it just roached a bird. I thought it was going to build a nest in the bottom of the pipe. And I'm like, oh, man. Okay.
Yeah, the rodents have got to be terrible with those big equipment.
Oh, my God. They're everywhere. Absolutely everywhere.
But we got a lot of spiders. That's about it we got to worry about. Occasionally something will sneak out, but
I don't do spiders. No. I actually had you do actually take that back. We get spiders, but they'll be on implements. And I had one rototiller that lifted up. And if you ever stare at a bunch of ants on the ground, like if you just stare at somewhere on the ground, you can see where all the ants are.
Like the ground's moving, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I lifted up this rototiller and I was staring at the shaft on it, and I can see everything moving because it had like 1,000 spiders, black widows, wolves, like everywhere. And I'm like, oh no. So I took brake clean and I just blow torch the whole thing. My boss comes out, the whole thing's on fire. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm killing everything before I work on it. I'm like, I'm not getting bit today, bud.
Everything alive.
Oh yeah. Or rattlesnakes. Snakes and other doing service calls out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I had one, it wasn't a rattlesnake, it was a king snake, which is actually a good one, but I'm like Indiana Jones. I don't do snakes.
Yeah.
No, I took a pitchfork and I like, okay, dude, like huck him over there. Well, then he kept coming back. And I'm like, go away. And then I'm just driving the tractor like a whole mile away from him. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I like walked back at my service truck, drove it back down. My owner's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I've got snakes over here and I'm not doing it. What's a king snake? I don't care. I'm not doing it. I don't do snakes. I'm good.
I don't need to worry about him crawling up my pant leg or where he decides to crawl up.
I've heard horror stories from buddies. They'll be working on equipment. A rattlesnake was actually in the tractor.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like buried in there next to where it was nice and hot. And he was just trying to stay warm. And he came over to me and he heard the rattle for a second. He thought it was like a tool in his pocket. He's like, what the hell is... No, it was just a wrench. And then he like goes over and hears it again. And then it like strikes out of it. And he's like, dude, I almost like shit my pants because I was running so far.
Almost died today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's another reason why I don't like doing service calls anymore because I don't like fighting for my life from the natural disasters of the world.
Well, I could only imagine the work you probably get at like I don't know if you call it a dealership, but a repair facility. Mm-hmm. Probably a lot nicer equipment that comes in than the ones that you have to go out and repair, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're not willing to put this thing on the trailer and take it down to a service department, it's probably not the nicest thing in the world.
No, they're going to be beat up.
You know?
There's been a lot of, and that's the other thing too, is like farmers, because a lot of those guys weld. You just see the stuff they've welded onto their tractor. Yeah. Some of it's kind of ingenious. Yeah. But some of it, like I had one I used to call Frankenstein because it looked like he just started taking bolts and just like welding it where the threads are sticking up for some reason. I don't know why, but it looked like it had moles like all over this tractor. He welded all over the loader, everything. And then there's guys that like the loader tube that goes in between like a stable, like they'll put a cap on the end and they stick tools in there. And then they just shut it and like, oh, that was genius. Like that was a good idea. Now you got your own toolbox on the loader. Yeah. No one even knew.
Right.
But
yeah. I mean, that's got to be like tough to see some of that stuff too that you see and then be able to walk away, like some of the we don't do mobile stuff, right? So everything comes in the shop. So it's like something comes in and it's like something like that. I can't leave like this. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Like you need to tow it out of here. Yeah. I can't put my stamp on this thing. Oh, yeah. But like going out to like these tractors is that even like do you even worried about that kind of stuff when you're out there like that?
There's a lot of times like if I can't, and granted, I'm not doing field calls anymore. Right. I work in the shop now, but when I was doing it, there's times like if I can't fix it here, like I don't, there's no point in me charging any more money to you because no matter what I do to this, it's not going to get fixed. Like it's got to come back to the shop. Yeah. So I'll just tell them like, hey, it's like there was a gal I did. We completely went through our entire cooling system on the tractor. Put a new radiator, new water pump, new thermostat, changed the hoses, like everything, like 6 months ago. And then she called us up and the tractor said, oh, it won't run. And you just come take a look at it. Well, I go out there and I'm like trying to get this thing fired up. And I can't get it started to save my life. I bled the injectors. I finally get it fired up, and it is the tractor's a smoke machine. It is just fogging smoke out of the exhaust pipe. And I'm like, okay. And it's just running like crap, just ba, 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 ba. And it's just smoke. Like I'm fogging out her whole house, like everything. And I shut it off. I'm like, all right. So we're going to have to come back with the trailer, and this is have to go straight to the shop. She's like, why? I'm like, you see all this? Like, there's not enough tools in my truck to make this go away. Like it's got to come back. We're going to have to tear this whole thing apart because there's something bigger going on. Right. And actually what happened was, and this is where mechanics like have issues with engineers. And and I like how you smiled the minute I said that because you know what I'm talking about. She said, and what ended up happening was they had old fuel in it. She put old fuel in it, but it was gasoline.
Oh,
in a diesel engine. And she's like, well, you guys worked on this. This is your problem. I'm like, no, what we did, it ran fine when we left here. This is not our problem. The problem is that you have, like, I'm telling you, when I say gasoline, like the first batch of gasoline ever made.
Oh, okay.
Like it was old. It smelled like rotting meat.
Wow.
Like it was nasty. And I asked her, I said, because I took a sample out of it in a mason jar to show her.
Yellow.
Oh, it was gross.
Yeah.
It looked like it had like chunks in it. It was nasty. And I told her, I said, this was in your fuel tank. It's not diesel. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's kerosene or gasoline, but it's not diesel. It's not diesel.
Might have been gasoline at one point in its life.
It was some kind of combustible fuel at some point, but I don't know what it is now. I don't even think like an old Deuce and a Half that has a multi-fuel engine could run on this stuff because it was just gross. And she said, oh, and I said, you put any fuel in it? She's like, well, my son, he's an engineer, and he said that there's something wrong with it. I'm like, okay, well, did your son put fuel in it? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, your son, the engineer, put not diesel in a diesel tractor.
Yeah.
And so what happened was her injector seized, and it just started dumping fuel down the cylinders, and it tried to like hydrolock, but what it ended up doing was melting a hole in the cylinder wall. It was about as big as my pinky nail.
Wow.
And it just fried it. So she spent whatever so much to fix that entire cooling system. Well, she ended up buying a new tractor because the amount of money to rebuild the engine on that thing, she was half the cost of a new tractor.
Yeah, well, the fuel system and everything else probably too, right?
Man, it fried it.
Yeah.
It seized the fuel pump. It seized the engine block. Like everything was toast.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good callback. Hey, so you just worked on it a couple weeks ago, and now it's not. And
well,
now
it was 6 months ago.
Now it won't start.
Yeah. That wasn't my fault there, sweetheart. That was your son, the engineer.
I've only put 2 hours on it since I got it back, though.
I don't care if you put 5 minutes on it, man. I did not put that in there. I promise you I did not put that fuel in that tank.
The gas doesn't go old that quick.
Oh, I showed my boss it, and he just started laughing. He's like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, this lady's been on. She's called me every hour for the last 2 days wondering what's going on with the tractor. And I'm like, that should be a dead giveaway that she knows something that they did.
That's fair. That's a fair way to look at it.
Every hour for 2 days. That's the other thing too. I love it when customers try to lie to you about stuff.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing I love about whether it's a car or equipment. It doesn't lie.
Oh yeah.
As a mechanic, you're kind of the detective. When you start going through this and doing your diagnosing and figuring it out, and you're like, okay, so you were riding the brakes.
Yeah,
that's why you got brake chatter now, because you were riding the brakes and the rotors are warped. You know?
Right.
So that's what I love about it.
It's like what was it Grissom? CSI?
Yeah.
Just follow the evidence.
Just follow the evidence.
We can all relate to that.
Follow the money.
Follow the money and follow the evidence.
I'll tell you exactly where the issue is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can always relate to that kind of stuff. And that's a fair thing to bring up too. I never really thought about it that way. Is like the ones that get real full of anxiety are the ones that typically made that mistake, and they're like,
they don't want to cop to it.
They don't want to cop to it,
but equipment doesn't lie, man.
Yeah, no.
You look at it long enough, and you're like, you've been around the block. You're like, that didn't happen because of that,
right?
So you were doing something stupid,
right? But of course, we're all just trying to rip everybody off, you know.
Oh yeah, well that's what everyone thinks.
Right.
Mechanics are just trying to get. I don't. Here's the thing. I don't know you. I don't care. I'm trying to get a paycheck too. I just want to get it fixed right the first time, so you don't come back and piss off my boss. So I'm not trying to earn more money. I'm trying to help you,
right? Because
I would rather have someone tell me that something's going to break down further down the road than forget about it and send it off. And then I'm back here in a week. Now I'm pissed off because I was just here, and why was all come you didn't tell me before?
And that's. I just don't understand. I mean, it's understandable, the thought process. Maybe that goes back to like 20, 30 years ago when things were a little different. But even still then, what would be the point of even trying to rip anybody off in this industry? Is like, what do you mean you're going to get ripped off? Like,
well, especially in a small town like we're in.
Yeah. But even still,
everything.
Yeah, but still, just like the thought behind that whole thing to begin with, like, what would benefit you to do something to that tractor, say, for instance? Yeah. To have you come back out to spend your time, like, why would I have done something like this? Yeah. How does that make any sense?
Yeah, you're going to lose a customer doing that.
Well, you lose a customer, but it's like on the business side of it, even like, what would even be the incentive to have somebody do something?
You
don't. Absolutely nothing.
No.
And I don't know. It just blows me away, like the thought process behind it, because I deal with it, and it's like, oh man, why is it going to be so much? Or do I really need to do all this? Is like, no, you don't need to do anything. Mm-hmm. This is just what I'm recommending.
Yeah,
like
yeah, you can take it or leave it. I don't care.
This is your car. You want to fix it or not? This is what I'm
recommending.
Right.
To fix it fully.
Right.
If you don't want to do that, I can just fix the bare minimum, and that'll get you on your way. But in the end, it's your decision.
Right.
If you want to go that route, this is what's going to cost.
And I feel like, in my experience, is like having that conversation and not, I don't want to call it pushy, but not like really selling the fact that there's all this other maintenance that needs to be done, and you can probably relate to this. Like, you're going to see that thing back. That equipment's going to come back if they don't do this service work.
Oh yeah.
And it's already there. Like, let's get this done.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bill's going to go up, but you're not going to have to load this thing back up, bring it back down here, go through all this. Like, let's just get it done now. Yeah. And be done with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, at first you're just like, I'll just fix what's broken, make you happy and go on your way. But then 6 months later they come back and they're like, why don't you tell, like you said, why don't you tell me all this other stuff? Like, well, I did. I don't remember that. It's like, and so without being pushy or like selling that.
Key is documentation.
Yeah, it is. But
document that.
As well as I do, is like, you can write it down, email it to, text it to them. It's like, they still come back like,
forehead,
yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. And when something you said that made me think about it, it also comes up with that, like I was saying, just keeping your stuff clean.
Yeah.
I had a customer, he was on a skid steer on an SVL and a Kubota skid steer. He underneath the seat is, you can just lift up the whole seat and there's all the hydraulics and everything to it. Mm-hmm. Well, he worked in an area that had a lot of like powdery dirt. And what happened was, it wasn't a sealed cab, so the dirt got in there and everything, which is fine. But that's why on the skid steers, they have plates you can remove to wash everything out and just drains out the bottom of it.
Okay.
Well, he never did that, and the dirt got in there, and with the vibrating of the diesel, the dirt compacted, and it actually pinched a hydraulic line shut.
Wow.
Which was the feed hose for the entire hydraulic system. Smoked the pump, which was $3,000, $3,500, just for the pump, not including all the labor to replace everything. We fixed it. 6 months later, came back for the same thing because he did it again.
Wow.
And we told him, said, you got to keep this clean. This thing is like owning your own legal tank. It'll run over brick walls. It'll lift up thousands of pounds.
Those little skid
It'll
steers
do
are badass,
anything you want it to do. But if you don't take care of it, this is going to happen again. And especially where you're at with this powdery dirt, got to keep this thing clean. And he's like, okay. And yeah, 6 months later, came back for the exact same thing. Dirt got compact so much that it pinched. It was a 2-inch hose. It was a big hydraulic line.
That's crazy.
And it pinched it shut so that the hydraulic flow wasn't adequate enough, and it smoked the hydraulic pump. Did it twice.
Wow.
Couldn't believe it.
Well, at least it wasn't a third time, too, I guess, huh?
No, well, I think maybe the third time, maybe he would have gotten it.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
You think people are smart enough to
just let me
figure it out.
What? Let's put 2 pumps on there.
Yeah. Is there a bypass we can do to that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy, the kind of stuff that happens.
Oh, man.
In different industries.
It was wild.
Yeah. This is stuff you didn't think about, Well, all the YouTubing and Googling in the world ain't going to get you to figure that one out.
Well, we couldn't figure out was like, because it was a brand new unit. Like, we were just blown away that the pump just seized. And then once we lift the seat and we see all this dirt, I'm like, we literally had like, you started using screwdrivers as a shovel. And we're just like shoveling, picking out the dirt. And finally I can see the hose just pinch. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh, wow. Holy crap. I didn't know you could do that. Like, that was just amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you never think of something like that. Cause it's a 2-inch rubber hose and like, it's hard. Like,
yeah.
But the amount of pressure it took to finally compact that dirt down to pinch that hose off.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What a trip. I guess leading back into like, do a little shifting gears here and move back to like kind of work atmosphere and like shop culture. Kind of leave it off on there. What's something for you particularly that, so you've been a tech, you've kind of done your own kind of work, but for the most part, you've kind of been through shops. Mm-hmm. What would be something that you would look for? Like, say if like an employer was listening, or maybe someone getting into the heavy duty industry, and like a mistake that maybe that was made as far as, I know we kind of touched base on like taking care of culture versus money, but what's something that you would like take away from all that and the experience that you've had as far as like finding the right shop? You know, versus like just looking at the numbers. Hey, I'm going to pay you this much, pays this much. But is there something that stands out to you as far as finding that right, like where you're at now? Was it something that you landed and you ended up just liking it, or was there something in particular that like really drew you in?
For me, it was always I was always attracted to companies that were willing to sit down and listen to you and, you know, teach you. You know what I mean? Like, when I went to diesel school, like it was, I went to a school, but honest to God, everything I learned on my own. I didn't get it from that school. That school didn't really teach me a whole lot. I mean, there's couple things, but I don't use that. That was mostly for trucks. But for me is I got to like who I'm working with. And if they're willing to teach you and, you know, you could give me all the benefits in the world, but if I don't like working with you, I don't want to be here. Yeah. So I truly look for, you know, are they willing to teach me? Are they willing, you know, is it stuff I even want to, you know, work on? And if it's something that you haven't worked on, are they willing to teach you to do it? You know what I mean? Are they going to have are they going to send you to a school, or are they going to, you know, have you go do a class?
Yeah, training's a big one.
You know, training's a big one. Especially the way technology is moving now, you got to have some kind of incentive for that. And then the one thing too that I absolutely hate is micromanaging. If I'm going to have someone just like breathing down my neck to get something done, I want nothing to do with it. Absolutely. I don't care. And, you know, for the guys getting into it, speed comes with experience. Don't try to be the fastest guy in the shop. Try to be the guy that's getting it done right the first time in the shop.
Yeah, that's a lot faster.
You know what I mean? If it takes you all day to do something, by all means, take all the time in the world. And if you lose some money on it, you lose some money on it. But what you did gain from it was a guy that got experience in it, so that the next time he comes around to do that, he's going to be faster than he was all the time he was before.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So speed comes with experience, but I'm all about like, I gotta like the employer. And if he's somebody that actually cares, that means a world of difference.
It's gotta be genuine then too, right? Like, can't just have this like,
can't just be putting on a show. Yeah. You know, when you walk in a room, you can tell he changed. Oh, he's in here. I go, hey, you know, I don't need that. I don't need you to be fake. In my personal experience, like I'm a very honest person. Probably like so much to the point that I get myself in trouble because I'm too honest. But I'd rather be honest with, you know, because if we're going to be on the same team, you got to know everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you tell me everything, I'm going to tell you everything. We're on the same team. It's us versus them. It's not, you know, me versus them and you versus them. Like, no, we're all on the same team. So honesty is a big thing. And they got to be wanted. They got to be willing to, you know, put some time into you. You're an investment to that company. Yeah. If they're not going to take care of you, there's no point in even being here, because any company, if you were to die tomorrow, any company that could just replace you with some other guy is not worth even looking at. You know, they got to want you. They got to care about you, because you're the one making money for that business. You're the one that's making them look good. You're the one that's making the reputation of that business go up or go down. Right. So if they're not going to put any time into you, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair way to put it. And I think it's a good way to put it too, where you said to be able to look at it as far as what was the direction? Hard way to put it. I think you put it well. As far as having them take care of you. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you could work for
losing the train of thought I had.
Well, you could work for you could work for, you know, Budweiser, okay, or you could work for, you know, the, you know, microbrewer down the street. The microbrewer of the street, they might not be able to pay you what Budweiser can pay you, but I guarantee you they're going to care about you more than Budweiser ever will. Budweiser might not even know your name. You're just number 2496. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that than I do to that.
Yeah, I think the same team is what sparked it for me. And I think it was just an interesting way to put it. Is we all think we're a team, and everyone's got this motto like, yeah, we're a team. Like, we're a team.
You got to mean it though.
Yeah, exactly. And like you hear it all the time. Like, yeah, we're a good team. We put a team together. We're a team. But it's same team. Yeah. Like,
you know, if you have a customer,
I think just saying that, just we're on the same team, makes so much more sense.
If you have a customer come down on you, but your boss is not going to stand up for you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that stuff gets to you. Yeah. You know, I've had customers yell at me and then my boss not say a freaking word about it. And I'm like, all right, cool. I guess I'm the only dick here. You know what I mean? But, you know, then I've had bosses where a customer came down to me and the boss is like, no. This ain't his fault. This is your fault. Like, you did this. He told you this and you don't want to listen. This is the result of that.
Just taking taking ownership,
taking responsibility,
taking the responsibility. And even if, and I've gotten to that point too, where if the guys, do something or like, I got to stand behind what they do, good, bad, or ugly.
Yeah. You got to have
it's on me
about it.
Yeah. And so I'll deal with it. That we made a mistake because we're human. Okay. Like, but yeah, I think there's a lot of that divide where it's like, it's hard. It's hard to deal with a difficult client. It's hard to deal with that
reflects
situation.
Leadership.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Attitude reflects leadership.
It's really hard to do it, but it's definitely eye-opening to look at it as far as being on the same team and trying to build that culture around that thought without just thinking, we're a team, so you play point guard, I play field goal, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's not how it works.
No.
Like we're all on the same team. We're all doing this thing together versus like, well, this is your position. This is your position. You didn't do your job. And that's why we're failing. It's like, hold on a second here. Yeah. That's not correct.
No, that's not how it works.
It's hard to use the analogy of a team. I've always tried to use like the analogy, we're a crew. Yeah. We're a crew here because we're all, working together. But
working in a shop is like an engine. If all the parts aren't working together at the same time, something's going to miss time and something's going to fault.
Yeah, right.
Okay, but we fix this issue with somebody, or if everyone's helping one guy, I'm the kind of guy working in a shop. Like if a new guy needs help, I have no problem giving him a hand. Yeah, because I've been there, and it sucks.
And I think the better way maybe is looking at it like a chain, and you can have a weak link to the chain. Yeah, but the chain signifies that we're all doing the same thing.
Yeah, we're all in this together.
I guess we're all equal.
Yeah,
I hate saying it that way, but I think it's the best way.
No, that's the best way to put it. I 100% back that. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, cool, man. This has been fun. I appreciate you coming in.
I appreciate you. I mean, I've known about this podcast, and when you hit me up, I was like, oh, man, that's cool. Like, hell yeah. I'm gonna go. I told my old lady, she's like, oh, well, go have fun. I was like, yeah, I've been home all day, so this is like my one thing I had to do today, so I was kind of stuck. But yeah, no.
Glad I got to fill your schedule at least.
Yeah, man. Let me check. Let me see if I can get you in there, Jimmy. But no, I have a lot of respect for you. I love you and your wife, man. You guys are cool people, and I love the stuff you guys get to work on. So I get to work with dirty crap all day. So when I see CNOT's truck in here airbagged, I'm like, oh, this is sick. Like, all right, this is cool.
Shiny stuff.
Yeah, shiny stuff, man. I don't get to play with shiny stuff. I get to play with dirty stuff. So it's kind of nice.
Well, cool, man. This has been really good. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.